Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the Big Issues podcast. Big Talk, a real change, voices that ignite is the Big Issues podcast, beaming the light and truth from streets to headlines, loud and bold. We dig deeper into stories that others wouldn't dare. Is the Big Issues podcast. Yeah, we're speaking loud for the unheard, unshaken, and untamed. Wake up and tune in. It's time to engage. The Big Issues podcast, taking the center stage. Watch live on YouTube channel at CityRide TV and Facebook at CityRide Television. The Big Issues podcast, X-raying the issues of the moment.
Welcome to another episode of the Big Issues podcast, where we X-ray the issues of the moment. And on today's episode, we'll be X-raying the issues concerning the people of Enugu State. So stay with us after the break. My name is Kezi Michi. Yes, I'm glad you're still here with us on the Big Issues podcast. And just like I told you that after the break, we'll be X-raying the issues that concerns the good people of Enugu State, particularly when it comes to security of lives and properties. And joining me on this episode is a security expert, a criminologist, a public safety specialist, and also an author who has authored the book Public Safety Through Strategic Partnership. He is also the former resident consultant, Public Safety Udilo Government Area, and also the CEO of BUCHANE Safety Center in Enugu State. We are talking about Chief Sir Luke ONYEBUCHI ANEKE. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. This is the Big Issues podcast. And what we do here is we raise issues that concerns issues of the moment and that concerns the people. And on today's episode, we'll be talking about Enugu State. It's no longer news that we have security threats all over Nigeria, in fact, all over the world. But to the people of Enugu State, I think they'll be more interested to know exactly what is going on in the state. Recently, the governor of the Enugu State, Governor Barrister Peter Ndubisi, made some changes in the local security architecture in Enugu State, the Forest Guard. Colonel Dan Didiugu, retired, was appointed as the chairman, whereas commander is DCP Soji Akimba Miloye, PhD, was also appointed as the commander. So that brings me to the question, first of all, what is Forest Guard, the duty of the Forest Guard in Enugu State?
Thank you once again. The Forest Guard, like the name implies, is a system of, community-based security structure, if you like, responsible for safeguarding our forests. It's a fallout from the disintegration of Ebube Agụ.
Okay, Ebube Agụ, I think I remember that.
Could not stand, so the states in the southeast, technically, formed what worked for them. So for Enugu, that's how Forest Guard came about. So their work primarily is to safeguard our forest and stop invaders from coming to our communities. That's the...
And so far, how has they fared in your own assessment as a security expert?
It's difficult to assess them now without putting into context, a lot of issues. But on an average, they've done well in the last couple of years, considering the fact that these guys are almost doing this job barehanded and with little motivation. So I am sure that, to be very fair to them, they are doing very well, because if you improve their capacities, they could do a lot more. So, but comparable to what they are doing currently, that is comparing their strength,
limited resources
their
available,
limited resources, their firepower and all that, they are doing excellently very well. And I'm sure that there is room for lots of improvement. We need to just be honest to ourselves. Their welfare needs to be considered, their training and retraining needs to be looked into, and above all, they need to be given equipment to safeguard our forests.
All right. So, in all, they need motivation, and they have done well with little resources available to them, but they could do better.
Excellent.
Thank you. Now, I like the definition. He said it has to do with the local safeguarding of our forests. Taking Enugu State as a case study, you know. So it means that these people are supposed to be ordinary indigenous locals, right?
Certainly.
So now that another commander who is a non-local has been appointed to take care of, to command the local vigilante, so to say, what's the implication for the people of Enugu State?
Michi, you know that the governor has the prerogative of appointment.
Yes.
And this is not the first time we are seeing foreigners in certain positions. I think...
But not in security, right?
Well, it depends. If you say not in security, there have been foreigners who were also commissioner of police and the general officer commanding and the director of SSS. So those are not within his prerogative. However, he has the right to appoint whoever he wants to get the job done. However, the people who are indigenous have better advantage to get the work done quickly, because the foreigner will have to spend lots of time in trying to do what we call city studies, understanding the areas, you know, getting translations, as the case may be, to an understandable language for him. So that's gap.
So it takes time. Also
takes time, and it can cause serious issues. So beyond that, the young man, the doctor that has been appointed, with respect to what his qualifications are, I don't think he's more qualified than his predecessor, the man who was removed for him to come in.
What makes you say so?
He's a retired director of SSS. I've known him for many, many years. And he is doing so much. In fact, he has made the work of the new commander very easy. He has done so much that space cannot allow me begin to enumerate. And I know that, you know, he has the necessary knowledge of
security,
intelligence gathering, investigations, and prosecution. These are the three components of community-based or state-based security organizations.
Intelligence,
yes.
Prosecution.
The other man is an operations man, yes, but it's beyond operations. Operations, it's normal field work, and you cannot share it with the root cause, because intelligence is about getting
The right
certain
information
before
it occurs.
it occurs. So it's not a reactive event.
Okay.
So, but on the other hand, the man who has been touted to be an expert, so to say, the operations, I heard he was a former deputy commissioner operations. Operations is usually reactive in nature. For you to curtail issues before they materialize, there are a lot of things that don't come to public domain, that don't get to the point of operations. They are killed at that level because they are already neutralized.
Wow.
The information are brought, they are processed and actioned upon.
Before
it gets to that point. So it's just a few that get to materialize. Probably, maybe a lot of actions are not deployed. You know, I'll give you an example with the Iranian
and the Israeli
war.
Yes.
You know, with the Iron Dome and most of their sophisticated
defense
systems, there are still some bombs that get to drop in some areas.
Yes, that's true.
So that's to tell you that security is not usually 100%. So you can liken it to the few issues we see are those that are not covered by the Iron Dome.
Yes.
So a lot of the bombs, a lot of the what would have become issues with our forest and the Fulani people and our neighborhood watch and our forest guard guys are already neutralized at that level. So it's not a reactive. They are not planned for reactions.
Okay,
they are not sufficiently armed. They are not sufficiently trained. They are supposed to be there to gather primary intelligence and shift to another sector, the DSS, to act on them, process them, take actions.
I see.
You know, and make sure.
It seems like a lot of work. So which means our security agents, personnel are actually doing wonders that we fail to acknowledge.
So we should just forgive them for the little errors that comes.
If you hadn't explained this, I would have already, paused that. They should have been.
That's how it works.
Okay, I see. All right, you said I asked you about the assessment of the forest guard, and you told me you could not access them based on certain measures that are not put in place. But then you were actually assessing the predecessor, saying that he has done well. So there must be something that prompted that.
Okay, I told you that I will pass them well. I told you earlier that I will pass them well based on the information that I have, based on the fact that they don't have sufficient work tools, they are not properly motivated, and they are not trained, so to say. So, but given that limited shortcomings, I can rate them good. And I said again, if they have better equipment, better knowledge, and better welfare packages, they will do wonders. So I've given my assessment of them. But for me to say they are excellently good will be misunderstood.
I think I agree with
the information that
you don't have the 100% information.
Exactly.
And okay, and the predecessor, you are about saying something concerning that. When I say
it's a fine officer. In fact, it's an error, to let him go, because I know how he was brought into the system with almost nails on the ground, begging him to come and save the system then. And such assets, they are not retired easily. In fact, in the civil service, they are usually given many extra years.
Even after
continue. Yes, there are a lot of security officers who they don't retire, who they keep recycling because of the information they have, because of the
the efficiency,
the
in the
efficiency
system
that they've deployed to the system.
But coming to that,
Yes.
I believe before now we had what is called a coordinator of the
Yes.
forest guard.
Yeah.
Now it has a tenure.
It's a nomenclature.
It has a tenure.
It's a nomenclature.
I agree, but then it has a tenure, right?
Yeah.
But now I believe just like we have 4-year tenure for a governor, some public office holders except the local government for now. Has his tenure not expired?
I just told you it's a nomenclature. And now let me tell you about that law. I've seen the law. If you are transiting from a coordinator to a commander, you are activating the law.
Oh.
The law is not today. The law is 2020.
Oh, I see.
Right?
I see.
So that 2020 law, in the eyes of the law, has not been activated.
Activated. I see.
So,
Okay.
because there are layers, there are boards. There's a board, there are local government structures too in place, allowed by the law. Okay? So, if you want to activate the law, you can start. Example is, if you form up an organization, a club, association, or whatever you call it, you always have interim leadership.
Yes, that's true.
So, and by the time the constitution takes effect, those people are naturally converted to start the first tenure.
Yeah, that's true.
Without prejudice. The governor, like I said earlier, has the prerogative. The governor might even decide to say, this commander he has put there, he will move him tomorrow. Nobody has security of tenure. Only the governor or anybody elected by the people. So every other appointment or appointees
is at the discretion of the appointee.
Is the discretion of the, but if in the eyes of the reality, you want to kickstart your law, so to say, then you can transit. You can transit. Come and do this first turn and go, or do a transition period.
Okay.
But not just a sharp, because whether it's coordinator, whether it's commander, they are all the same. It's just nomenclature.
All right.
The
Thank you.
person is the head of forest guard.
Thank you very much. Okay. At least you have lectured me and enlightened me on the law, which I thought has already been activated. Okay. All right. So the people of Enugu State, when you said you mentioned some impediments that might be part of the challenge to the new commander, talking about the language, the city study, and so on and so forth. Now, in your opinion as a security expert, do you think the locals will easily trust a non-local with certain information? Because I believe in security is about information. And considering what happened in Benue State, where the authorities were saying that they were, misinformed, that the locals were actually harboring the invaders, fed them, and led them to a different path, whereas they went to attack a different route. Can this scenario activate such a challenge within security architecture in Enugu State?
Like I said, security is not it's a structured system. Even if you have an Hausa Fulani here as commander of forest guard, if he's the commander and the governor indeed had the power to appoint him,
yes,
he must be regarded as the commander. And certain informations, in fact, all informations he needs or requests for will be made available to him. My point is the period of taking decisions, the accuracy of translations, the geographic familiarization, understanding the name of a community and what the history of that community has been as an Igbo man. It's very paramount to the success of any commander of such a community-based organization.
Oh, I see.
Not necessarily that there won't be cooperation. However, certain information can get lost from translation. Okay? Our people catch Fulani, they do this thing, they do this thing. Once it's not properly transmitted, he can get a false report, and mislead His Excellency.
That's like village headmaster doing the Kotuma.
This is not rocket science.
Interpretation.
It's not rocket science, because if you say, because even if a commander, like the former coordinator, is from our boyhood here, I've seen him interact with some of his men and officers. Swallow an Igbo. In that case, information are accurately transmitted. So he's now the judge to now convert it to English. And advise the governor accordingly.
Okay.
But if the man is not understanding, and maybe he's giving the right interpretation, he does not trust it. He now takes it for further forensic investigation. maybe his girlfriend, sorry to use that word, or somebody else. Please, is this thing true? The person, depending on the mood, can twist it. And in that case,
I think that's why I said, if you remember the local, the former one of those sitcoms,
yes.
I said the case is adjourned. I said no, only just don't wateji tomorrow. Bring goat and yam tomorrow. You know.
So this is, we are facing a serious time. Nothing stops you from saying, okay, the board chairman who have no job, as far as I know, in the structure of the forest guard.
The chairman does not have a
The chairman does not have any role other than sit down, do audit, decide on budgets, and it doesn't even have, it's not a commander in chief, so to say. Everything still rests on the commander. So why not swap it? Bring an Israeli or bring somebody from Nigeria, make him chairman. In the parliamentary system of government, the president is ceremonial. It is the prime minister that takes military and diplomacy decisions on behalf of the state. So that commander needs to be on ground. He needs to understand the culture, the reasoning, the morals of the people. We are not Yoruba people. His judgment is going to always be wrong when there is need for certain decisions. He is going to be biased once certain issues come up, and all that and all that. That's what we are saying. The governor has the prerogative, like I said, and nobody is going to take that from him. He has appointed an MD for the Broadcasting Corporation, who is a Yoruba man.
Yes, I remember.
He has appointed special advisor on revenue, who is a Yoruba man. There is a foreigner that is not even Nigerian, who is heading serious establishments of government. We are not having challenge with that. We only say, right, the totality of transmitting intelligence from the field to where decisions ought to be made and returning same for implementation shouldn't be widened by language barrier or lack of knowledge of the area, irrespective of the fact that such a commander had been in Enugu given for 100 years. Is not enough. It does not make you an Igbo man, and it does not make people to want to freely trust you. What about a situation where, somebody who you so trust and probably, is being misled to give you a different information or understanding of a people you don't know their history? It means that you, as commander, will command in error, and before you know it, it will backfire. So
all right.
If you think that the person who left is not doing much, Let's give it some time. I like to give 60 days.
60 days.
Yes. 60 days will show if it's a good decision or not.
All right. Coming to that, I like the fact that you said that when a commander is being misled, that he could command in error. Now, I also recall that this is not the only local security outfit that we have in the country. I also know that we have the Amotekun in the southwestern area. So, are you also saying that if peradventure that a non-local is also appointed there, that it could also result in the same challenge? Or are you saying it because you're from Enugu State?
The truth is that they are not the same scenarios. One is a regional security network.
Okay.
While the other is a state
internal network.
Amotekun is so much effective because there is efficient collaboration between all the 6 southwestern governors. They make contributions, they provide manpower equally. Their houses of assembly had ratified that Amotekun as having come to stay. Never, they can never take somebody who is not a southwestern to head it. From their boards to members of the board, to the commanders and field operation officers. They cannot. They are very intelligent, they are very wise. Right? Irrespective of the favor somebody may have done to you, you don't use security to compensate. It is very important to our leaders in this part of the world. I've seen lots of them who, when they become whatever, you see that their ADC or their chief details, as the case may be, are people who are not from their places. Whilst they are on national assignment, noted, there's also the need to trust and trust your life
to somebody
who is your own, and keep the person to his conscience, irrespective of the fact that you have known the person for many years. It's not enough to now say, okay, this is time to pay you back. Find something else and compensate such a person with.
All right, coming to that. So, in your own, as a security expert who have, in fact, you have enough experience to advise any security agent or any government of the day. So, as a security expert, what do you think is the best approach for fighting local insurgency? You know that we've had pockets of violence and a lot of chaos in some parts of the local of the state, and these are local threats. And it's also no longer news that the Benue crisis, the massacre, is also a threat to Enugu State because we have boundary with with Benue. So, what do you think is the best approach towards ensuring that it does not eventually come in full force into Enugu State? We already have challenges already.
Where are they going to come from? They will come from the forest. It is that migration that is the challenges in Uzo 1, Bondrin, Kogi, Benue. It is the same challenge in Ehamofu, bounding that same area. The challenges we have are known to us. Likewise, the solutions on different forums have been provided. If we want to get out of this, we need to decide first. You cannot wake a man who is pretending
to be asleep. Yeah.
When my father used to tell me this thing many years ago, I didn't understand. I said, how? I said, how can you wake somebody who is not sleeping, who is pretending to sleep? You first wake up as a state. Look at the kind of conversation we're having now. It doesn't show the person is we are truly awake, or we are just pretending to sleep, as the case may be. The solution to this is intelligence gathering. That's the biggest role of the DSS. DSS emphasizes on neutralizing threats before they happen. Sabotage, insurgency, terrorism, and all other. They make sure that things that can lead or escalate to big threats are seen early through sources and agencies and contained. Then you just sit down and feel they are not doing anything. Forget the little fraction who are doing VIP protection. A lot of the chunk of the DSS are being done through intelligence gathering everywhere, making sure, like the Israeli Mossad and the CIA, making sure that people are safe, that stray bullets are noticed before they are planned. So we need to get intelligence gathering. And those who gather the intelligence gathering are those who are in the community. Excuse me. Those who see foreign and unknown faces. It is them that know who belong to the community or not. That is where it starts. We need to continue to train them. We need to build capacity. We need to integrate the leadership of the communities, the traditional rulers, the town union, the market women, the youth organization. Everybody needs to buy in to help government understand the need for timely and accurate.
I was about coming to that. I was about asking you the role of the people in all this.
Okay.
So I'm glad you are saying it, that everybody, your hands must be on deck.
Yes. And people need to trust the government. In my book, I did a research. It was in Udi and Ngopala in Imo State. I got to 2 different locations and I realized that the people are willing to cooperate with the government if the government can present themselves to be trusted.
Oh, I see.
You give you information, the person who is giving the information is known, traced, his identity disclosed, his resident known, and at the end of the day, okay, somebody was arguing. I was listening to a conversation on Al Jazeera, and the question was asked to the UN nuclear chief. And the question was, how come it was when the Iranians gave you the information about the nuclear scientists that they were picked, all of them were picked and killed? Whether it is true or wrong, but I'm just trying to give you, these are the things that turn people off. People are willing. In my village, we have very strong security because we have boundary with the forest, so to say. And I knew the efforts personally that I'm putting. Why? Because I have people in the village. I have loved ones in the village. I have that final place as my relative. There are people who they cannot bury in their villages now because people will not come. So if not for anything, consider the fact that you need to protect your village. And if it's a village at a time, it means that the entire community is safe. And from there, the entire state is there. However, the government have a role to play. The neighborhood, the forest guard people have been paid 30,000, common 30,000. That's the cost of my fueling for serious? 2 days.
Are you being serious right now?
That's what they earn. After working for 30 days, that's what they earn, totality. Wow. So after working for 30 days, and they are made to see the job as a full-time job. A full-time job is supposed to take care of your basic care. They may not have large operational or running costs. However, but 30,000 is poor. That's even fair. The neighborhood watch is 20,000.
What?
That's what they earn. So how do you think they will put in their life? Every now and then there's kidnapping. They will get into the village, into the bushes with ordinary not pump action, not English pump, with normal chaka. Bayeno Oshua, Chuaha.
No.
They will use their own personal resources and go and develop their personal defense.
Yes.
What you call Odeshi. It works for them. They are passionate. They are very committed. They are on the streets of Four Corner. They are on the street of Osuka. And that's why each time I get to their checkpoint, I show them love. But I will argue with that policeman that I'm not owing you. I can't give you anything. You don't even have to beg me. But when I see those people, I give them with love because it's a commitment they've made. So the government needs to train them and improve their welfare in such a way that they are even entitled to retirement benefits.
Oh yeah, that's not a bad idea.
I have engaged with lots of them. I've headed verification committees on some of these guys, and I've seen firsthand what they suffer. So if we don't need to pretend to be asleep, this is the reality in front of us. If you don't know, this podcast is telling you now that a lot needs to be done. They have families. They've abandoned. One told me that he used to, what was that his job again? You know, I can't remember. Maybe something like kill meat, kill cow.
Okay. All these butcher, yes.
You know, some of them drive Okada. But their phones are always on. At the ring of the phone, they are supposed to abandon that command. And if you make mistake not to come, they slash your salary. That same small thing.
You're talking about 30,000 being slashed again.
I'm telling you what happens, reality. So, sincerely, the governor I know, His Excellency Dr. Peter Ndubesemba, is committed. There's no doubt. He is very committed, but the delivery of that commitment needs to be improved. What is delivery? A lot of nuclear armed nations, about 9 of them, most of them don't have delivery vehicles. It's not about building a nuclear bomb. Yeah. It is about sending it through intercontinental ballistic missile to your enemy territory. Once you cannot deliver what you have produced, you will stay in your territory and it will explode at the point where its capacity ends. That is why Tehran is all their missiles are coming from their deserts. You cannot do it. But Israel is on their sky. They have their supremacy and they are pounding them. Now, Israel have no delivery system. You can like it if you bring it back now to look at the numbers. I don't know if we're going to blame some of the officers or the appointees they have made, or we're going to blame the system he has created. Right? But for working, it's working, but it needs to improve on the delivery. And who he listens to, that person who is advising him, or that man that is showing him that he can hear Israel, these are the kind of people that are delivering. So if they are in the wrong frame of mind, and the governor will not even know when he's being misled because he has trusted those lieutenants.
Speaking with Chief Saluk ONYEBUCHI ANEKE, popularly known as BUCHANE, because he's the CEO of BUCHANE Safety Center in Enugu State. And we've been talking about the security architecture and some recent appointment by the Executive Governor of the state, Barrister Dr. Peter Ndubesemba. And this is the Big Issues podcast, where we illustrate issues of the moment. If you want to participate, also be part of the sponsorship or advertising program, please, the numbers are showing right now on your screen. Till then, my name is Kizzy Michi. See you some other time.